Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, की जय श्री गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. Dandavat pranam all Vaishnavas. Ooh, Mridanga's too high. So we will begin with Mangalacharan. Mangalacharan is the auspicious invocation, invoking the presence, the grace, the mercy, the sidelong glances of our beloved Gurudev, our Guru Varga, all of our Rupanuga Guru Varga.
Do you want this one too?
No, good enough. Did I say our Srila Prabhupada? Our Srila Prabhupada. Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaura Hari Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Of course, on this day, especially Śrī Raya Ramananda Rāya, and going back all the way to the original Guru, who is Krishna himself, and his Guru of Prem, Vrishabhanunandini Srimati Radha Thakurani. As Krishna says in Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Radhikar Prema Guru Ami Shishya Nata. Radhika is my Guru of Prem, and I am simply her dancing pupil. She makes me dance various novel dances according to her tune. So we'll begin on page 1 of this beautiful bhajan treasure trove, Shri Gaudiya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam, Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam, Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Sajivam, Sadvetam Savadhutam, Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padam, Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha, Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadayo Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shrimar Bhakti Vedanto Narayanitti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaischa Yuktam Varam Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvang Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Pada Jadataika Hriddi Caitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvang Satatam Prapadye. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Presthaya Bhutale Shri Shrimar Bhakti Pragyano Keshava Yetti Namine अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानां च पालिने जीवदुःखे सदरताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्तो सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाद्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुधाप सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदाम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगव्वरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टः सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्तो राधाकान्तो नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्री राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्ततस्थितः कार्षन्वेणुस्मरैर्गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तुनः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दम्बुदिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं कलो नास्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Dandava pranam all Vaishnavas. Now we will call for the mercy and grace of Sri Gurudev. Gurudev baro kripa kori boravanu maje godrume diacho sthan. Page 33 by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If you do not have the Gaudiya Giti Gucha or the Gaudiya Kirtan app, which I heard was somehow removed from Google Play temporarily, you may consult with Jiva Pavana Prabhu, who posts the bhajans in the comment section of this thread. So just scroll to his most recent post and you will find the bhajans along with their translations and commentaries from our acharyas. Dandava Pranam. Gurudev, little lower. Gurudev boro kripa kori goravano majhe godrume diacho sthano. Boro kripa kori goravano majhe godrume diacho sthano. Agya dila more e braje boshi hari nama koro gano. Agya dila more e braje boshi hari nama koro gano. Boro kripa kori goravano majhe godrume diacho sthano. O boro kripa kori goravano majhe godrume diacho sthano. Kintu kabe Prabhu যোগ্যতায়র পিবে এ দাসেরে দয়া করি। কিন্তু কবে প্রভু যোগ্যতায়র পিবে এ দাসেরে দয়া করি। চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব একান্তে ভজিব হরি। চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব একান্তে ভজিব হরি। গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গোরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান। ও বড় কৃপা করি গোরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান। শৈশব যৌবনে জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ। শৈশব যৌবনে জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ। নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ ও বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান ও বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান ও বার্ধক্যে এখন পঞ্চরোগে হত কেমনে ভজিব বলো বার্ধক্যে এখন পঞ্চরোগে হত কেমনে ভজিব বলো ও কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমারো চরণে করিয়াছি সুবিহল কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমারো চরণে করিয়াছি সুবিহল ও কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমারো চরণে কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমারো চরণে পড়িয়াছি সুবিহল পড়িয়াছি সুবিহল গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোদুমে দিয়াছো স্থান ও বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय रूपानुग गौरी गुरुवर्ग की जय श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय Now we will call for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Vrindavana Vasi Jata Vaishnavaragana. Sudevi, can you turn the fan a little bit away from me? Just a little bit more. Page 36 by Devaki Nandan Das. Sudevi? Sorry, I didn't know if you heard me. Just a little bit.
Good?
It's a little bit too much. I know. Page 36. Vrindavano Vasi Jato Vaishnavero Gano Vrindavano Vasi Jato Vaishnavero Gano Prathame Vandana Kori Sabaro Charano Prathame Vandana Kori Sabaro Charano Onilachano Vasi Jato Mahāprabhu Gano Nilachano Vasi Jato Mahāprabhu Gano Bhumite Poriyavano Sabaro Charano Bhumite Poriyavano Sabaro Charano Navo Dvipo Vasi Jato Mahāprabhu Bhakta Navo Dvipa Rakta Sabharo Charano Vando Oyayanu Rakta Mahāprabhu Bhakta Jato It came back on. Yeah, I did it. I left it on that. That will work. Sorry about that. We will start that all over again. Please forgive. Hare Krishna. Sudevi. Hare Krishna. Are we back? I left it on ordinary Wi-Fi. And we will restart this bhajan because we don't like interruptions. And we are not holding the camera by hand. There's a contraption which holds it, so there's nothing we can do. So, sorry about that. Okay. Vrindavana Vasi Jata Vaishnavaragana. Prayers of adoration for all Vaishnavas, whoever were, who are now, and whoever will be. Page 36 by Devaki Nandan Das. বৃন্দাবন বাসী যত বৈষ্ণবের গণ, বৃন্দাবন বাসী যত বৈষ্ণবের গণ, প্রথমে বন্দনা করি সবার চরণ, প্রথমে বন্দনা করি সবার চরণ, নীলাচল বাসী যত মহাপ্রভুর গণ, নীলাচল বাসী যত মহাপ্রভুর গণ, ভূমিতে পড়িয়া বন্দ সভার চরণ, ভূমিতে পড়িয়া বন্দ সভার চরণ, নবদ্বীপবাসী যত মহাপ্রভুর ভক্ত, নবদ্বীপবাসী যত মহাপ্রভুর ভক্ত, সভার চরণ বন্দ হইয়া অনুরক্ত, সভার চরণ বন্দ হইয়া অনুরক্ত, ও মহাপ্রভুর ভক্ত যত গৌর দেশে স্থিতি, মহাপ্রভুর ভক্ত যত গৌর দেশে স্থিতি, সভার চরণ বন্দ করিয়া প্রণতি, সভার চরণ বন্দ করিয়া প্রণতি, ও যে দেশে বৈশে গৌরাঙ্গের গণ, যে দেশে বৈশে গৌরাঙ্গের গণ, ঊর্ধ্ব বাহু করি বন্দ সবার চরণ, ঊর্ধ্ব বাহু করি বন্দ সবার চরণ, হইয়াছেন হইবেন প্রভুর যত দাস, হইয়াছেন হইবেন প্রভুর যত দাস, সভার চরণ বন্দ কান্তে করি ঘাস, ব্রহ্মাণ্ড তারিতে শক্তি ধরে জানে জানে ব্রহ্মাণ্ড তারিতে শক্তি ধরে জানে জানে এ বেদ পুরাণে গুণ গায় যে বা শুনে এ বেদ পুরাণে গুণ গায় যে বা শুনে মহাপ্রভুর গণ সব পতিত পাবন মহাপ্রভুর গণ সব পতিত পাবন তাই লোভে মুই পাপি লইনু শরণ তাই লোভে মুই পাপি লইনু শরণ বন্দনা করিতে মুই কত শক্তি ধরি বন্দনা করিতে মুই কত শক্তি ধরি তম বুদ্ধি দোষে মুই দম্ভ মাত্র করি তম বুদ্ধি দোষে মুই দম্ভ মাত্র করি তথাপি মুখের ভাগ্য মনের উল্লাস তথাপি মুখের ভাগ্য মনের উল্লাস দোষক সমী মোয় ধমে করো নিজ দাস দোষক সমী মোয় ধমে করো নিজ দাস সর্ববাঞ্ছ সিদ্ধি হয় यम बंध छूते सर्ववांछ सिद्धि होय यम बंध छूते जगते दुर्लभ होइया प्रेम धन रूपे जगते दुर्लभ होइया प्रेम धन रूपे मनेर वासना पूर्ण अचिराते होय मनेर वासना पूर्ण अचिराते होय देवकी नंदन दास ए लोभे कोय देवकी नंदन दास ए लोभे कोय मनेर वासना पूर्ण अचिराते होय मनेर वासना पूर्ण अचिराते होय देवकी नंदन दास ए लोभे कोय देवकी नंदन दास ए लोभे कोय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर प्रभु कृपा करो मोरे दया करो कृपा करो मोरे दया करो प्रभु कृपा करो मोरे दया करो प्रभु कृपा करो मोरे दया करो All Vaishnava Thakur की जय धन्यवाद प्रणाम all Vaishnavas And now we will call for the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, without whose grace we would not be able to understand anything about the subject that we are going to be discussing today. In this case, Yang Kali Rupa Sharira Nat Dharata, page 47. by Śrī Madhav Das. Thank you for posting that, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. It's amazing how our Srila Gurudev highlighted so many of these things that we might not have seen by our quick perusal of the writings of Srila Prabhupada. But because it was highlighted, the light was shown in that direction, then we are seeing the verifications and proofs of all of these basic teachings, basic foundational teachings of our Rupanuga Guru Varga everywhere within Prabhupada's books as well, which means he was also presenting that. That's why our Gurudev always said, I'm not giving anything new, it's there, just look, it's here, and he would point us to it. And then we were like, oh wow. I read so many books so many times, and when he was reading them and explaining them, it was like a completely different book, because I had only skimmed the surface and he was diving deep and collecting so many jewels and presenting them. Okay, so Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata by Śrī Madhav Das, page 47. Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, Yang Kalirupa Sharira Tandraja prema mahanidhi kutarika, Tandraja prema mahanidhi kutarika, Kona kapata ugharata, Kona kapata ugharata, Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, Nirakirahang Sana Pano Vidhayano, Nirakirahang Sana Pano Vidhayano, Kona Pritaka Karipayata, Kona Pritaka Karipayata, Kosabatyaji Bhaji Vrindavana, Kosabatyaji Bhaji Vrindavana, Kosaba Grantha Virachita, Kosaba Grantha Virachita, Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, Yang Kalirupa Sharira Nadharata, Jagapitu Mano Pula Halatanana Vidha, Jagapitu Mano Pula Halatanana Vidha, Manoraji Arovinda, Mano জনিত কো জানো তো রাধা মাধব রতি কো জানো তো রাধা মাধব রতি কো জানো তো সোহি কৃত কো জানো তো সোহি কৃত यङ्कलिरूप शरीरनधारत यङ्कलिरूप शरीरनधारत चाकर चरण प्रसादे सकल जन चाकर चरण प्रसादे सकल जन गाई गवाई सुख पावत गाई गवाई सुख पावत चरण कमले शरणागत माधो चरण कमले शरणागत माधो तव महिमा उरलागत तव महिमा उरलागत यङ्कलिरूप शरीरनधारत यङ्कलिरूप शरीरनधारत अन्व्रज प्रेम महानिधि कुथरिक अन्व्रज प्रेम महानिधि कुथरिक कौन कपात उघारत कौन कपात उघारत यङ्कलिरूप शरीरनधारत यङ्कलिरूप शरीरनधारत रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी 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 श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय श्री सनातन गोस्वामी पाद की जय श्री सद गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय एक्सक्यूज मी Can you please tell us more about the above mentioned virtues with regards to current times? Which virtues are you referring to? Oh, Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu ki jai. In Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Mandir, he's in his final hours in this world. So all devotees, please pray for him or ask him to pray for us. May his journey be successful. Hare Krishna. About a real sadhu. Above mentioned virtues. Where was that mentioned? Oh, in reference, Reinhard. TK. I'll do my best. Now we will call for the grace and mercy of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. Jai Jai Nityananda Rohini Kumar, page 64 by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. So that Facebook post that I posted it popped up as a memory that I had posted it exactly 7 years ago on this day. So I found a different photo of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and reposted it because it was very closely connected to many subject matters I have been studying about and deliberating upon, and especially in the last few days. So it popped up as I would say a merciful reconciliation or answer for the questions that I was pondering within my heart, and I felt it as a gift from our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, especially Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Oh, Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu has just departed from this world at 5:10 p.m. So Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu ki jai. May Srila Prabhupada and all Vaishnavas, all of our Guru Varga, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, Sachinandan Gaurahari, Radha Shyamasundar, bless him and quickly carry him toward his ultimate perfection. And the same prayers that we say for our birthdays, we say for our departures. May all auspiciousness be upon him, Mangalam Bhavatu. May he have always ever increasing nishta in the lotus feet of his Gurudev. May he develop more deeply, more incessant devotion to Krishna, and may he awaken that mood that our Rupa Goswami and all of our Guru Varga has come to awaken within our heart, Radha Dasyam. So may he be victorious on this journey. Shri Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu ki jai. Okay. Page 64, Jai Jai Nityananda Rohini Kumar by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Jayo Jayo Nityananda Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Godāvarī Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Godāvarī Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda পতিত উদ্ধারো লাগি দুবাহু প্রসার পতিত উদ্ধারো লাগি দুবাহু প্রসার গদ গদ মধুর মধুর যাধো বল গদ গদ মধুর মধুর যাধো বল যারে দেখে তারে প্রেমে ধরি দেয় কোল যারে দেখে তারে প্রেমে ধরি দেয় কোল গগমগ লোচন রয়ে নিরন্তর গগমগ লোচন রয়ে নিরন্তর সোনার কমলে যেন হৃদয়ে ভ্রমর সোনার কমলে যেন হৃদয়ে ভ্রমর দয়ারো ঠাকুর নিতাই পর দুঃখ জানে দয়ারো ঠাকুর নিতাই পর দুঃখ জানে হরি নামের মালা গাঁথি দিল জগ জনে হরি নামের মালা গাঁথি দিল জগ জনে পাপি পাশন্দি যত করিল দলন পাপি পাশন্দি যত করিল দলন দীনহীন জানে কইলা প্রেম বিতরণ দীনহীন জানে কইলা প্রেম বিতরণ আহারে গৌরাঙ্গ বলি পরে ভূমি তলে আহারে গৌরাঙ্গ বলি পরে ভূমি তলে শরীর ভিজিল নিতাই নয়নের জলে শরীর ভিজিল নিতাই নয়নের জলে বৃন্দাবন দাস মনে এই বিচারিল বৃন্দাবন দাস মনে এই বিচারিল ধরণী উপরে কিবা সুমেরু করিল ধরণী উপরে কিবা সুমেরু করিল ও জয় জয় নিত্যানন্দ রোহিণী কুমার জয় জয় নিত্যানন্দ রোহিণী কুমার পতিত উদ্ধার লাগি দুবাহু প্রসার পতিত উদ্ধার লাগি দুবাহু প্রসার নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय कली कुकुर कदन जदि चाव है In that bhajan it has Ramananda Poshana Dhira. Where is it? 156 in our Gaudiya Giti Gucha. By Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय. Has it been posted yet? काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कलि जुग पावन कलि भयनाशन कलि जुग पावन कलि भयनाशन श्री सचिनंदन गाओ हे श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ हे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे गदाधर मादन नितायेरो प्राणो धनो गदाधर मादन नितायेरो प्राणो धनो अद्वैतेरो प्रपूजित गौरा अद्वैतेरो प्रपूजित गौरा निमाय विश्वंभरो श्रीनिवासो ईश्वरो निमाय विश्वंभरो श्रीनिवासो ईश्वरो भक्त समूह चित छोरा भक्त समूह चित छोरा काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कलि जुग पावन कलि भयनाशन कलि जुग पावन कलि भयनाशन श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ हे श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ हे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे नदीय शशधर मायपुर ईश्वरो नदिया शशधर मायपुर ईश्वरो नाम प्रवर्तनो सूरा नाम प्रवर्तनो सूरा गृहीजनो शिक्षको न्यासिकुल नायक गृहीजनो शिक्षक न्यासिकुल नायक माधव राधो भाव पूरा माधव राधो भाव पूरा काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे कलि जुग पावन कलि भयनाशन कलि जुग पावन कलि भयनाशन श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ हे श्री सच्चिनंदन गाओ हे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे काली कुकुर कदन जदि चाहे सर्वभौम शोधन गजपति तारण सर्वभौम शोधन गजपति तारण रामानंद पोषण वीर रामानंद पोषण वीर ओ रामानंद पोषण वीर sanatono palano rupananda vardhano sanatono palano haridasamo Haridāsamodano dhīro Kali kupura kadana jadi chahe Kali kupura kadana jadi chahe Kali juga pavano Kali bhayanashano Kali juga pavano Kali bhayanashano Śrī Sachinandana Gao he Śrī Sachinandana Gao he Kali kupura ka dana jadi chao he Kali kupura ka dana jadi chao he Brajarasa bhavano Dushtammato shatono Brajarasa bhavano Dushtammato shatono Kapati vighatano kamo Kapati vighatano kamo Shuddha bhakta palano Shushka jnano tarono Shuddha bhakta palano Shushka jnano tarono Chala bhakti dushano ramo Chala bhakti dushano ramo Kali kupura kadana jadi chao he Kali kupura kadana jadi chao he Kali juga pavano Kali bhayanashano Kali juga pavano Kali bhayanashano Śrī Sachinandana Gao he Śrī Sachinandana Gao he Kali kupura kadana jadi chao he Kali kupura kadana jadi chao he Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari Sachinandan jai Gaura Hari Gaura he 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 Śrī Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai Today we are observing the disappearance of Śrī Raya Ramananda. Interestingly, we don't observe the disappearance of Vishnu Tattvas or Krishna Tattvas, but we do observe the disappearance of Bhakta Tattva. So it is mentioned the disappearance day of Śrī Raya Ramananda. We've never celebrated the disappearance day of Krishna or the disappearance day of Balaram or Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu or Advaita Acharya. Also not of Srimati Radhika. So no disappearance festivals of any person who's in Krishna Lila, but in Gaur Lila, because they're taking the role of bhaktas, and also in Shakti Tattva, then we may observe their disappearance days. So when Caitanya Mahaprabhu asked Raya Ramananda, sorry, let me just tell you what I read from Gurudev the other day, why we don't observe the disappearance days of Bhagavan. Even though they do have disappearance days, they disappear from this world, and although the appearance and disappearance of Bhagavan is very similar to the appearance and disappearance of his eternal associates in this world, still, so that people won't misunderstand the absoluteness or the Bhagavata of Bhagavan, of the Lord, then we don't give so much emphasis to that, because so many persons with a mundane intellect will misunderstand and will materialize the transcendental glories of the Lord. With Vaishnavas, we see that in front of us, and we have some kind of understanding of this, but still our Guru Varga have told us that their appearance and disappearance is the same. It is all transcendental, and it is only like passing before a window. They have manifested before us and unmanifested due to our vision. For one who has proper vision, they will always see the transcendental forms of the Lord and his devotees. But that's what Srila Gurudev explained. They don't put any emphasis on the disappearance of the Lord or Bhagavat Tattva, because they don't want persons of the mundane class to view it with a mundane view. With Vaishnavas, they might see that any Vaishnava has departed, but still we give them some tattva on this principle. In terms of Raya Ramananda, he is Vishaka Saki in Krishna Lila. In Gaur Lila, he has taken the form of a devotee. He's showing as a devotee and also coming in this Shakti Tattva. So, we observe the disappearance day of Śrī Raya Ramananda. When Mahāprabhu asked him, what is the greatest pain or what is the greatest suffering of this world? Raya Ramananda said to Mahāprabhu that I know no greater suffering than that of separation from the Vaishnavas. So Raya Ramananda has manifested as the topmost Vaishnava, the topmost deliverer of Harikatha, the topmost personality who is pleasing the heart of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu by giving this beautiful Harikatha that Mahaprabhu is seeking. And so on this day, the anniversary of his disappearance, we will sing Jai Anilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur, page 99 by Sri Narottam Das Thakur. Very quickly, I'll answer your question, Rudra Prabhu. Our Srila Gurudev followed Chaturmasya very strictly and wanted his disciples to also follow. So, Chaturmasya, you don't shave. Except Mahaprabhu shaved halfway through when he discovered the disappearance of his elder brother Vishvarup, so he shaved. So then all of the Gaudiyas, they shave on that day. So it's halfway through Chaturmasya. So they keep their hair growing through that whole time, and then they shave halfway through, and then again. Otherwise, they only shave once a month on Purnima. So you'll see partial beards growing, and then they shave on the full moon day. Again on the full moon day, but during Chaturmasya, they keep it for 2 months, and then shave, and then 2 more months. Our Gurudev would explain that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada wanted photos taken of himself with a beard, so that no one could make any accusation that he does not follow Chaturmasya. our Param Gurudev. You can see pictures of him with the beard. There it is, right there. There's a picture of Bhaktisaranta Saraswati Thakur with a beard, our Gurudev with the beard. Srila Gaur Kishoras Babiji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So, and so many of our Guru Varga. I don't know what our Srila Prabhupada was doing in India. I'm sure he was following according to the Gaudiya Math standard. But when he went to the West, he saw that everyone already had beards and long hair. So he made an adjustment, and he wanted everyone to be a little bit neat and clean and tidy for a particular purpose, for preaching. So he required that everyone shave every month at least, or even more regularly. We've seen sometimes that he had a little stubble in some of his pictures, but not outside of India. I've always seen him pretty much clean shaven. When he would come to India, he would definitely follow along the Gaudiya guidelines. So many things. How he opened his temples, how he worshipped, the Mangalarti songs that were sung in his temples in India, how he would observe the holy days of the Lord, and everything was very according to his upbringing within the Gaudiya lineage. But for time, place, and circumstance, certain things needed to be done, and he explains this himself, including, as a sannyasi, performing marriage ceremonies, which is forbidden for sannyasis. He said, but for the service of the Lord, this thing is necessary, so I had to basically break the rules in order to perform these wedding ceremonies. So he said in terms of time, place, and circumstance that sometimes certain things have to be done. This is for service, and this is also part of yukta vairagya. Real surrender means utilizing everything in the service of the Lord, even sometimes having to make adjustments for time, place, and circumstance. Yes, sometimes it is mentioned that Raya Ramananda is Lalita, sometimes Vishaka. It is mentioned like that, referring to books like Bhakti Ratnakar and others. Lalita and Vishaka are also very, very close. Generally, we understand that Swarup Damodar Goswami is the manifestation of Lalita Saki, and Raya Ramananda is the manifestation of Vishaka Saki. Vishaka Saki is very close and very intimate with Srimati Radhika. She's born on the same day. And because of that, she has practically the same astrological configurations. She has similar features, similar form, similar beauty and qualities to Srimati Radhika. And she has a nickname, it is Anuradha, which is basically like under or little Radha. So she's just a little bit younger than Srimati Radhika. Lalita came some days before. So Lalita is considered senior, and because of that, even Srimati Radhika, even Krishna, they're all very respectful to her, and Lalita is very strong. But Vishaka Saki, she understands the heart, the moods of Srimati Radhika. And it makes sense that in the form of Raya Ramananda, she's in essence coaching or giving all of the confirmations to Caitanya Mahāprabhu about these highest moods of love and affection, which we will discuss a little bit today. Yes, Swarup Damodar in Krishna Lila is Lalita Saki. Gaur Ganodesha Deepika as well, yes. And sometimes it is said that also certain personalities are residing within them. So sometimes you hear that Raya Ramananda is also Arjuna and other things like that. Sometimes the names that are told are showing that they have certain moods within them. Haridas Thakur is said to be a combination of Brahma and Prahlad. Does that mean that Haridas Thakur is Brahma and Prahlad? Not necessarily. But those two jivas or personalities may be manifesting inside of him and experiencing that rasa in relationship with Caitanya Mahaprabhu through him. Some kind of internal connection. As I spoke before, how certain personalities, it is said, due to intense austerities, Drona and Dhara, Prishni and Sutapa, they came back as Nanda and Yashoda and Vasudeva and Devaki. But then it makes you question, wait a second, if Nanda and Yashoda and Vasudeva and Devaki are the eternal associates and the eternal parents of Krishna in Vrindavan and Krishna in Mathura, respectively, then how is it that these personalities who were doing intense austerities became them? So our acharyas have reconciled that these personalities were doing intense austerities. The ones who became Vasudeva and Devaki, Prishni and Sutapa, I believe, they were praying to have Bhagavan as their son. And so he came as their son, but they still maintained their Aishvarya Gyan, their knowledge of his opulence. Drona and Dhara prayed to have Vatsalya Prem for the Lord. So then they came into the forms of Nanda and Yashoda and experienced Vatsalya Prem. This is parental love and affection for the Lord. And when Krishna wound up his Leela in this world, then it is said that they, in essence, separated, and within Goloka Vrindavan or Gokul Vrindavan, they attained eternal positions as Vatsalya Premi Bhaktas, devotees of Krishna, but they are not inside the forms of Nanda and Yashoda, rather they are their own individual personalities. So these things are explained. So sometimes a name is given, oh, he's the embodiment of this personality, this personality, this personality. Sometimes it's figurative, sometimes it's real. And the realist understanding that I have received from Gurudev and Shastra and our Guru Varga is that Raya Ramananda is Vishakha Sakhi in Krishna Lila, and Swarup Damodar Goswami is Lalita Sakhi in Krishna Lila. I hope that kind of helps to clarify a little bit. Okay. So, calling out, they don't eternally merge into those associates, only for the time being during any pastime that is taking place, and you can say earthly pastimes, Bhomalila. Then those jivas enter into those forms and experience something through them, but that is not their eternal resting place. There was a time a while back when some of our Gurudev's disciples were mixing with other groups who were kind of sharing ideas that basically we have to, our goal, end game is to enter into the body of Lalita Sakhi and experience Radha Krishna's Leela through her. And our Gurudev and none of our Guru Varga, Rupa Goswami, our Guru Varga or Bhaktivinoda Thakur's line, I've never heard that anywhere else. I was like, where did you get that from? Who were you listening to? But sometimes we have heard that these personalities like Dronadhara have entered into the forms. They experience something in Bhom Lila, and then after Bhom Lila is wound up, then they attain their eternal individual identities in loving service to Krishna. There's no such thing as merging, not real merging. It's not possible. Our Param Gurudev said this idea is an illusion. Why? Because how can you merge? If you merge, that means the soul itself is mutable. The soul can be changed. It can be cut or dried or withered or merged. That would go against Jiva Tattva. Every individual jiva is eternal and individual forever. Even if it merges into the Brahma Jyoti and feels I don't even want to use the word feels like, ceases to experience individuality. That's a better way of saying it. Ceases to experience individuality. So the semblance of merging, or the idea of it, may have been there before one ceases to experience their individuality. In the seeming oneness, yet they maintain their individuality. Even if they merge technically into the form of the Lord, they would enter into the form of the Lord. This is very, very, the source of the greatest fear for any Vaishnava. This idea is just beyond comprehension for them, because sadhus may go through the Brahmjyoti, and wherever they glance, everyone is liberated. Yes, you can be liberated from liberation. If you are stuck in a plane of no seva to the Lord, that is not your eternal resting place, although it can be for almost ever. But if you enter inside the form of the Lord, the devotees don't go there, not generally. And so then, from that perspective, it is said that the jivas, and I've heard this a couple of times from different Vaishnavas, because their serving tendency will technically never be able to sprout, it's compared to a mustard seed which has been placed on a frying pan. If it pops, the shape is there, but it will never sprout. So this is in essence the eternal damnation of a jiva, the idea of it. Whether anyone has actually truly attained to that position, we don't know. Actually, in the conversation with Raya Ramananda and Mahāprabhu, this subject was also discussed. And the idea of this, accepting that the Lord has form but failing to awaken the desire to serve Him, is considered an extremely hard-hearted position. Right? If one doesn't acknowledge the form of the Lord, then they might not acknowledge seva. Then they might like the idea of the bliss of merging. But once you've acknowledged the form of the Lord, that He has beauty, that He has relationship, that He expresses love and affection and everything else, so many pastimes, and yet still I don't want to love Him or serve Him, which is my nature, but rather I want to be Him, merge into Him. This is actually like the supposed destination for demons. They see Him, they acknowledge Him, but yet they actually want to kill Him. So their mood is opposite to love and affection. It is aparadha. So it is said that is the destination for demons. But in the conversation with Mahāprabhu and Raya Ramananda, there it is stated that because of being so hard-hearted, those jivas may take their birth in the forms of trees which last for thousands of years, or within stone. Yes, stones have souls. So it's not good to break them, I guess. And our Srila Gurudev explained this once. We were in Fiji at the center there, the one that kind of burnt down when we were in it. And that's at that place, Srila Gurudev was explaining that they think they've attained liberation, but actually they're already falling. And he said because of being so hard-hearted, Bhagavan arranges for them to enter into any very extremely hard substance, like diamonds or crystals, deep within the core of the earth, where they will, Gurudev said, where they will remain for the duration of the Brahmanda, means the entire duration of this universe, Lord Brahma's life, until they again enter into the form of Mahavishnu, and then have a chance to come out and start again, basically making the endeavor for perfection. So that arrangement can be made, and what's the difference? Whether you are unaware, being in a crystal or a diamond deep within the crust of the earth, or whether you're inside the form of the Lord, in either case it's lacking activity and it's the same. It's just apparent darkness. So this is like what the goal of Shunyavadis is. They want to cease to exist. And this desire is a very hard-hearted situation. So then their destination would be something like that. So those devotees who place crystals and stuff all over and have it all over and have those crystals going around like that, might be taking association of Shunyavadis or Mayavadis. So instead of taking their association, we can chant Hare Krishna and hopefully they might become blessed. Here's something I remember about my father, I'll tell really quick. So back in the day, he used to go to all of these places, I can't remember how many years ago, where they were doing all the stones and stuff, so he went to Arizona to the mines and he was finding beautiful, good crystals, and he had all these crystals around the house. And one day he went to this place where they had all these crystals lying all over him with all of the different gemstones for all of this different energy, healing, and treatment. And he said he had an out-of-body experience. And stuff is powerful. So as he was up in the air, floating, looking at what they were doing to his body, someone came up behind him. It was his own guru, Srila Prabhupada. And he says into his ear, "Now look at yourself. Don't you look foolish?" And that was it. He said he just gave it up immediately. The whole thing. He was like looking at himself, like taking shelter of all of these crystals. So Prabhupada, in his out-of-body experience, told him he looked foolish. Yes, that one. So Vaishnavas should take shelter of the process of bhakti. Krishna, Harinam, Gurudev, Vaishnavas, Nityananda Prabhu, Sachinandan Godāvarī. We should not add things which are not approved of, or subtract things which are not approved of. We follow Guru Sadhu Shastra. We follow the process that our Guru Varga has given us. I was a little controversial today. Someone posted something and I wrote on that post. I said, since when did we become the International Society for Anti-Vaccinations? Did I miss something? I didn't know, that our Guru Varga have told us that this is what we were supposed to do. As far as I knew, we are the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Our Gurudev said it all the time. Srila Prabhupada said it all the time. The International Society for Being Conscious of Krishna. And today is the day of Śrī Raya Ramananda. Today is his disappearance day festival. So, why do we call it a festival? Because upon the disappearance of any Vaishnava, then you can see the glory of their entire life. And so it also brings about a mood of separation in which there is more respect and a more acute remembrance of their glories and pastimes. So we will sing for Raya Ramananda, Jai Anilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur. Hare Krishna. By Sri Narottam Das Thakur, page 99. Je anilo premadano karuna prachu je anilo premadano karuna prachu Heno Prabhu kotha gela acharya thaku Heno Prabhu kotha gela acharya thaku Kaha moro swarup rupa Kaha sonata Kaha moro swarup rupa, kaha sanatan, kaha daso Raghunatho patita pavan, kaha daso Raghunatho patita pavan, kaha moro bhata juga, kaha kaviraj, kaha moro bhata juga, kaha kaviraj, eko kale kotha gela gorano toraj, eko kale kotha gela gorano toraj, ashane kutibo matha onole poshibo, pashane kutibo matha onole poshibo, gorango gunero nidhi kotha gele pabo, gorango gunero nidhi kotha gele pabo, se sab sangiro sange je koi lobilas, se sab sangiro sange je koi lobilas, se sangana paiya kade narotama das, se sangana paiya kade narotama das, je anilo prema dhana karuna prachur, je anilo premana karuna prachur, heno Prabhu kotha gela Ramananda Rāya, heno Prabhu kotha gela Ramananda Rāya, heno Prabhu kotha gela Raya Ramananda, heno Prabhu kotha gela Raya Ramananda, Ramananda jai Ramananda jai Ramananda jai Ramananda jai Ramananda jai Ramananda, Ramananda jai Ramananda, Prabhu hai Prabhu hai Prabhu hai Prabhu hai Śrī Rāmānanda ki jai, Tadiya Tirubha Maha Mahotsava ki jai. In the Gaudiya temples, first time they sing Acharya Thakur, and then when they come back around, they put in there the name of the person whose day we are observing. So on our Gurudev's day, say what? The transcendental personality whose day we are observing. So the first time through Acharya Thakur, but coming back around, then they would sing like for Prabhupada Thakur, or for Gurudev, Srila Narayan Goswami Thakur, or for Raya Ramananda, like that. Basically, it's personalized.
I was just distinguishing because remember when we went to that Gurukul reunion and they're saying it for, Gurukulis and whatnot, and this actually is not just meant as a song of separation
Yes.
of ordinary jivas. This is a song of separation from the transcendental.
Right. That's
So,
important.
Yes, so that's why I said transcendental. Not that we can't miss our comrades that have left this world, but certain things are reserved only for those who are liberated. Like, sometimes everybody's like, oh, they've gone back to Godhead. But that's actually for those that we know, like Srila Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur, our Gurudev, Param Gurudev. Everyone else is on a journey, or we don't really know. And
Yes.
that's the Mahabhagavat tells us. So I just wanted to point that out, because then it frivolizes it. And the other day you were speaking about
Sit here so you can speak loudly.
it being an offense to put, someone on the level of the topmost.
A third-class bogus person on the level of a
I'm not saying a
Mahabhagava.
bogus person. I'm just saying, they might be very nice devotees even.
Yes.
But it's still considered, if they're conditioned, you're putting them on the level of a self-realized premi bhakta, that they've gone into Radha Krishna's Leela, or that they are this type of personality, then it can be a very big overlap.
Yes.
And it could be considered offensive, and it's bringing the pure devotee down or putting someone too far up.
It's like rasa bus.
So when you say transcendental personality, it distinguishes between the rest of us, or the rest of who we haven't been told who is who, so that this keeps us safe from making that kind of offense.
Yeah, I look at it in terms of who has written this bhajan and what mood they had in their heart. It was Narottam Das Thakur, who was weeping and feeling so much separation from these divine transcendental personalities, not due to any kind of material attachment, but it was spiritual, all transcendental attachment. And so from that perspective, then whoever's name you would put in that place, or who you might be singing it for, should also have those qualities. Or otherwise, as Sudevi said, it can be mundanizing it. Anyone who departs from this world, if they're not on that level, and you're singing the bhajan which is meant for persons on that level, for these persons, then you are in essence lowering the level of the bhajan to meet that person, or you're artificially propping them up to that highest position. So it's always good to keep everything in its context.
I just wanted to clarify, because I'm like, transcendental.
Thank you, Sudevi,
Okay.
for this transcendental information. Sorry, transcendental is not information. Katha. It was about transcendental. Yes, yes, Krishna Premabhati.
Actually, one of the things that started me really understanding this was in 2010, our Gurudev entered Samadhi.
Right.
And then...
And Nitya Lila. Nitya Lila Pravishta, right?
Yes. And not long after that, a devotee who hadn't been practicing for some time, but they were a nice devotee. They left this world. And everyone was saying, oh, they are with Radha and Krishna, they've entered that Leela.
They went back to Godhead.
And, you know, they were doing all of that, and it felt so painful to my heart that here our Gurudev just left this world, entered Nitya Leela, and then this person who, you know, he wasn't really following, he wasn't able to. I mean, he chanted, he was in Haribol, nice, but not on the same level, and it brought so much pain to my heart. Oh, they're putting him on the same level. And so it does overlap, and it can cause pain in the heart of Vaishnavas when we try to equate them without really knowing, and generally we do that sort of thing to pacify ourselves. But this isn't a path of pacification, it's a path of truth, and it doesn't have to be told in a harsh way, but continue their journey or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, they're blessed. Everybody's come in contact with the Maha Mantra. It's a blessed thing. So it's not, there's no bad thing, but not the same.
Did everyone get that? They said, I hear you, Sudevi.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Devaki, we will definitely sing Kalayati Nayanam today. And we are going to call out to Krishna in the form of Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande by Srila Rupa Goswami, because that's been requested for a couple days by, who was it, Rudra Prabhu or Sonam? I'm not sure, but anyhow. The path of truth is better than fabricating false stuff that we might not be certain of. We say stuff and then it trivializes the entire process. If we hold something very high, very dear, and very deep, then why make it into something so mundane? You know, just because my friend leaves this world, or just because my dog or my cat, doesn't mean they've gone back to Godhead. It's not that cheap. You know, one requires the highest level of prem with complete dedication, and the mercy of all of the Vaishnavas, Nityananda Prabhu, Caitanya Mahāprabhu, mercy of the holy name. It's not so cheap. It might be easy if one has received that kind of mercy, but you can see the nature of someone in this world. How much of their time are they dedicating to Krishna? Even if they're dedicating 99%, 99.9%. But that 0.1%, they are absorbed in nonsense activities or Maya. This does not give one the qualification to enter into Goloka Vrindavan and serve Radha and Krishna in their Nikunja pastimes. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada stated, if that person I was seeking as my guru, I saw in them that they were following or completely absorbed in Krishna 23 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds of the day, but that one moment they were not, I could never willingly submit myself to that person and accept them as guru. So that person who is %, means completely devoted, bhakti, bhav and prem fully manifesting in their hearts, they attain to that divine destination. And for those who have not yet, they will continue where they left off until they attain the necessary qualification. But I'm remembering now the guards, Jai and Vijay, telling these young boys, you boys couldn't possibly have qualified yourself properly. Why don't you go back home now and come back in a few thousand years? Okay, so now we will call out to Krishna. I know time is getting short, but I definitely want to sing Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande and Kalayati Nayanam, because Śrī Raya Ramananda wrote Kalayati Nayanam, and then we will pray to Mahamantra for mercy. So Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, that is on page 343, I believe, in our Gaudiya Gitti Guccha. There was once a time when they wanted to put a bhajan in our songbook, and it had the names of many persons who we considered conditioned souls, and some of them subsequently actually fell down or even left the path of bhakti. And Sudevi and I were fighting it. We're like, no, we can't put that in our Gaudiya Giti Guccha. It's a nice song, it's sweet, it can be here, but we can't water down the beauty, the quality of this transcendental literature. There's nothing, no flaw or frailty in it. If you start glorifying conditioned souls with over-glorification of those who have fallen down, then you're chanting the names of conditioned souls, and it makes a mockery of the rest of it. So we fought it pretty strongly. We were like, absolutely not. We will not accept this. We will not endorse it. And anyhow, it did not get placed in the songbook. And I'm sure the bhajan may have had to been adjusted by now. So these ones are eternally pure and transcendental. Page 343 by Srila Rupa Goswami, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. O Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Manasa madhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande. Manasa madhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. O Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Yadyapi sammadhishu vidhirapi pashyati na tava nakhagram marichin. Yadyapi samadhishu vidhirapi pashyati na tava nakhagram marichin. Idam ichhami nisham yatavachuta tadapi kripa duta vechim. Idam ichhami nisham yatavachuta tadapi kripa duta vechim. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Manasa madhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande. Manasa madhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande. O Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. He Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Bhakti rudanchati yadyapi madhava na tvai mamati namatri. Bhakti rudanchati yadyapi madhava na tvai mamati namatri. Parameshwarata tadapi tavadhika bhurghata ghatana vidhatri. Parameshwarata tadapi tavadhika durghata ghatana vidhatri Krishna deva bhavantam vande Krishna deva bhavantam vande Omano manasamadhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande Mano manasamadhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande O Krishna deva bhavantam vande He Krishna deva bhavantam vande Ayam abilolataya sanatana kalita dhutarasabharam Ayam abilolataya sanatana kalita dhutarasabharam Nivasatu nityamihamrita nindini vindana madhuri masaram Nivasatu nityamihamrita nindini vindana madhuri masaram O Krishna deva bhavantam vande Krishna deva bhavantam vande O mano manasamadhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande Mano manasamadhukaram arpaya nija pada pankajamakarande O Krishna deva bhavantam vande He Krishna deva bhavantam vande He Krishna deva bhavantam vande He Krishna deva bhavantam vande Krishna he 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 Oh Krishna he Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. And now everyone Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Valitam Pankajamiva Mridu Maruta Chalitam by Śrī Raya Ramananda. And that is page 342 or whatever Jiva Pavana Prabhu posts. Oops. Vrishabhananandini Srimati Radharani ki Jai. Śrī Raya Ramananda ki Jai. Kalayati nayanam Dishi dishi valitam Pankajamiva mridu Maruta chalitam Kalayati nayanam Dishi dishi valitam Pankajamiva mridu Maruta chalitam Keli vip Vishati Radha Pratipada Samudita Manasi Javadha Pratipada Samudita Manasi Javadha Parayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajamiva Mridu Marupa Charitam Parayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajamiva Mridu Marupa Charitam Vinidadhati Mridu Mantharo Padam Vinidadhati Mridu Mantharo Padam Rachayati Kunjaro Gatimmanuvadam Rachayati Kunjaro Gatimmanuvadam Palayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajamiva Mridu Marupa Chalitam Palayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajamiva Mridu Marupa Chalitam Janayati Rudra Gajadhipamuditam Janayati Rudra Gajadhipamuditam Ramananda Rāya Kavivaditam Ramananda Rāya Kavivaditam Palayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajamiva Mridu Marupa Chalitam Palayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajamiva Mridu Marupa Chalitam Janayati Rudra Gajadhipamuditam Janayati Rudra Gajadhipamuditam Ramananda Rāya Kavivaditam Ramananda Vrishabhananandani Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki jai, Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai, Śrī Raya Ramananda ki jai, Tadiya Tirobha Maha Mahotsava ki jai. And now we've come to that point in our evening, or your morning, or daytime, where we will call to that most amazing manifestation. Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugal Milan, in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That combination of Radha and Krishna, infused with all mercy, all Shakti, that combined form that you see either there as this couple or there right next to them as the Murti, the deity or the Murti, the form of their Prem. Prem, he is their Prem Murti, Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaurahari. They are the form of Hare Krishna. She is Hare, he is Krishna. And Shri Krishna Caitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahe Anya. There is no difference between Radha Krishna and Shri Krishna Caitanya, as you will hear a little bit later on today. So before calling out in prayer to Hare Krishna, we will first endeavor to remember the mood by which we should approach to serve and glorify Shri Radha and Krishna. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your loving service. I am yours. Make me yours. And as we are approaching Hare Krishna by the medium of the mercy of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas, Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari, like Raya Ramananda, we will be able to understand and realize the non-difference between Prem Purushottam, Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari, and Sri Radha Krishna. So calling out for mercy and praying for divine service, for Prem at their lotus feet, should not only be done for ourselves, because they themselves have come in the form of Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari, who has ordered, who has given the instruction, by my order, you should all become Guru. That doesn't mean that you're going to give initiation and accept someone's surrender. It means wherever you go, whomever you meet, tell them about Krishna. Tell them, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By this, not only will oneself be blessed, but anyone who chants it or hears it, even any other jiva, will also be blessed and receive liberation from the bondage of material existence. So very loudly, we should call out the holy names of the Lord. And as we progress, we won't see them as Lord, but more like Prananath, which is the beloved of my very heart, my everything. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rūpānuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patipāvana Śrī Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Vihari Ju ki jai, Hari Nama Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Śrī Raya Ramananda ki jai, Tadiya Tirobha Mahamahotsav ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. What's the question? Everyone's writing all this? Gurmore Atmasat means make me yours or make me like you. What was the original question? Tabai Vasmi also means Taba Eva Asmi. I am yours. Taba Eva Asmi in Sanskrit. But you are mine. You are mine. How do you say you are mine? All I know is that I am yours and you are mine. There is a bhajan in our Sri Gaudiya Gita Guch which has that. I will find it and send it to you. I don't know how to say that in Sanskrit. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayanitya Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitya Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurung Ninatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupar Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupar Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And to all of our Rūpānuga Gauriya Guru Varga, especially on this day, I'm also offering my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of Śrī Rāmānanda Rāya, whose disappearance anniversary we're observing today. Also, to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, we are offering our Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Shyam.
Radhe Shyam.
Is it that bhajan where Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying that, Hare Krishna, Kripa Sindhu? Isn't he saying something like that then?
No, Eheno Samaya Bandhu. He said, all I know is that you are my only friend.
Yeah, okay.
But what is that bhajan? Everyone knows. All I know is that I am yours and you are mine. I don't know if it's...
Don't worry,
we'll find it. We don't have much time today. Before beginning, Sudevi, Chaito Darpana Marjanam.
You're doing...
I know, still Raya Ramananda. So we are still going to chant Chaito Darpana Marjanam, but not the other one today. So please repeat after me, everyone. This is the first verse of Shri Shikshashtakam by Shri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Chaito Darpana Marjanam
Chaito Darpana Marjanam
Bhava Mahādavagni
Bhavamādavagni
Nirvapanam
Nirvapanam
Shreya Kairava
Shreya Kairava
Chandrika
Chandrika
Vitaranam
Vitaranam
Vidya Vadhu Jivanam
Vidya Vidhu Jivanam
Anandam Buddhi
Anandam Buddhi
Vardhanam
Vardhanam
Pratipadam
Pratipadam
Purnamritashvadanam
Purnamrita Shvadanam
Sarvatma Snapanam
Sarvatma Snapanam
Param Vijayate
Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam
Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Shri Shikshashtakam Ki Jai Shri Sachinandana Gaurahari Ki Jai. So something happened today. I was inspired and I was reading from so many acharyas and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and taking notes. And you know what happened? I was taking notes on my laptop. And I thought I was closing something else, but instead I closed the note and I did not save it. And I was like, I just got rid of my notes. And at that moment I remembered Srila Gurudev. The first time really that he ever called me up to speak publicly was on Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day, our Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day at Govardhan. And he said, is there anyone else remaining who didn't get to speak yet? And this was like the third day. And Padmanabha Maharaj said, only Kishori Mohan. And I was like, only me? Everyone else, most of them got to speak when Gurudev wasn't present. But he said, only him. So Gurudev said, come on. So I came up with my little sheet of white paper and I was going up toward the stage where I would stand in front of and speak. And Gurudev just kind of says, kind of offhanded in the mic, all you Western devotees, you need your white paper. You need your notes, right? So I took it, I threw it, and I just made my offering right there. But it was, that's what I remembered at that moment, that my notes disappeared. And I thought, yes, Gurudev doesn't want me to just be referring to notes. He wants me to bring this into my heart and to be able to share from what I have heard from Guru Vaishnavas and what has made an impression inside. Like he told us in the beginning, what you know now, go and preach. He wasn't so impressed with just reading and then repeating, but something which has processed itself, something which has settled in our heart. And he told us to inspire on his behalf, which meant we needed to find that inspiration within ourselves to be able to share it. So today, we have no notes. Today we are observing the disappearance anniversary of Śrī Raya Ramananda. Śrī Raya Ramananda Ki Jai. So, we haven't heard much about Raya Ramananda. We know that he is one of the 5 sons of Bhavananda Raya. And his name is Raya Ramananda or Ramananda Raya. And he was situated as the governor in Rajmundri, which is in South India. That temple which was established there was established by, there's a Gaudiya Math established there by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, maybe Bhakti Dayat Madhav Maharaj, and some others. And it was being overseen by Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj, and he actually departed there. So that is the place of Śrī Raya Ramananda, Rajmundri in South India. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, and there he was with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. In the beginning, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a very paka Mayavadi. He was there in Jagannath Puri, and he was like the main person in charge of everything, but he was a first-class Mayavadi. And due to the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who revealed to him that he is the master of Saraswati, Vishuddha Saraswati, then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was able to convert and he became a Vaishnava. Previously, he had had a mood toward Raya Ramananda which was unfavorable, thinking him to be a sentimentalist. This is how those who were studying the Vedic scriptures with the Mayavadi slant would think of the Vaishnavas. Oh, look at them, chanting, singing, glorifying the personal form of the Lord. Oh, they're sentimentalists. And they would kind of dismiss them. They wouldn't like them or appreciate them. Sentimentalists. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had this mood toward him and even didn't really like him much. But after being in the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart became completely changed and he appreciated bhakti and he was able to recognize and understand who is a Vaishnava. Even those whom previously he didn't appreciate, now he appreciated greatly. He understood the charm and superiority of loving service to Krishna over the idea of merging into the divine energy of Krishna without rendering seva. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established this point very strongly. Jivera Surupa Hoy Krishner Nitya Das. He established that point very strongly and made this point also for Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he became a devotee and then he told Mahaprabhu, who was going to go south. For what purpose? Mahaprabhu was going south to visit so many holy places, but really he was going to share Krishna Bhakti Ras with everyone. So what did Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya tell to Mahaprabhu? You should go and see Raya Ramananda. If there's anything worth doing when you travel in your southerly direction, what is worth doing is meeting with this person. He is a great devotee of the Lord. And he gave him this indication that he should meet with Raya Ramananda. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had traveled south, he went to that place, the place where Raya Ramananda was staying, and he went to the river there. Does anyone know the name of the river? Please put the name of the river there. Mahaprabhu went there to bathe, but he went off to the side, not in a place that was very public, but off to the side, because he didn't want anyone to disturb him in his moods and his chanting. It is said that when he arrived there, he felt it to be so sweet. The river reminded him exactly of Jamuna River. The forest reminded him exactly of Vrindavan. Sonam wins Dasari mango smoothie. Okay. Godāvarī. The stones and the hills in that area reminded him of Govardhan. So he was having this vision of Vrindavan upon his entrance there. And so there, Mahaprabhu, he took bath and he was doing his sandhya, his mantras, and he was chanting. And then at that time, from a distance, he noticed something. Someone was coming on a palanquin, dressed in very expensive clothing, with so many musicians accompanying him, and so many, it is said, thousands of Brahmins reciting Vedic hymns. This was the governor of that area. This was in the kingdom of Orissa, which was under the kingship of Maharaj Prataprudra. And this personality was the governor of this area. In that time, the governors had a lot of power, a lot of potency, a lot of position. And so this person was coming to the river to bathe, accompanied by so many musicians and Brahmins reciting Vedic hymns. So this showed his position. When he arrived there, he noticed off to the side the most beautiful, effulgent, brilliant, glowing personality with the effulgence of like 1,000 suns. He saw that this is no ordinary personality. So he left everyone there and he approached to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Fell flat at Mahaprabhu's feet and offered Dandavat Pranam. Because Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi, but also he recognized divine characteristics in him. Immediately, Mahaprabhu said to him, "Are you Raya Ramananda?" And he admitted, "Yes, I am Raya Ramananda and I am Shudra, very lowly personality." Mahaprabhu immediately embraced him, and tears were flowing from their eyes. They were completely overwhelmed with prema, love and affection upon meeting each other. And they began glorifying each other, both of them expressing humility about themselves, but glorifying the other personality. Mahaprabhu embraced him and was saying, "Oh, you are such a great devotee of the Lord. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sent me to see you. I've heard so much about you." And Raya Ramananda is saying, "I can see in you all divine qualities. Just look." And he said, "All of them, they're all now softly chanting the holy names of the Lord. Their hearts are melting and tears are flowing from their eyes. I can see by your presence they are having this effect from your presence." And Mahaprabhu said, "No, it is due to the presence of a devotee like you that they are like this." So such a sweet Vaishnava interaction. Even Mahaprabhu is saying, "I am a Mayavad sannyasi." Ramananda is saying, "I am Shudra." So they met together like this, expressing from themselves their own feelings of humility, but also experiencing so much transcendental bliss. Why? Because not only were they in the moods of devotees, bhaktas, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, completely covered by Srimati Radhika. So, Raya Ramananda is also their Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi. So, meeting together by the arrangement of the Lord, these personalities don't have any recollection of that, even though that's what they are. Otherwise, it would disturb the Leela. So, Raya Ramananda is only experiencing his heart manifesting in front of him, and all Ashtasattvic bhavs are manifesting. What a beautiful meeting. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raya Ramananda met, they were showing the proper Vaishnava etiquette. Our Gurudev said that most of the time these days when devotees meet, they're like, "Hey, what's up? How's your business going? How's your wife? How are your kids? How's your family? What's the latest movie you saw?" And these are the questions that devotees ask, but this is not proper Vaishnava etiquette. Vaishnavas should meet in a very sweet way. Gurudev said we should ask, "How is your bhajan? How is your inspiration in bhakti? What is the latest thing that you have been inspired by? Who are you hearing from?" These kinds of questions. Vaishnavas, when they meet, should have this kind of affectionate dealing. Then Krishna is the center of that meeting, and then everything should be harmonious. Srila Gurudev explained. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Mahaprabhu had such a sweet meeting, but then at that moment, something happened. Those Brahmins who were present there, they were doing their job in a sense. Smarta Brahmins. They were doing their job. They would get paid for doing that seva. They would recite Vedic mantras while Raya Ramananda was bathing and doing all of those things. Even though technically he was a Shudra because he was in such a high position in government, then they were assisting him in that with their Vedic mantras. And they were looking, what's wrong here? Raya Ramananda is a very grave personality, but I see that he's expressing so much emotion. And a sannyasi should never touch a Shudra. Why is he embracing him like this? And so they started kind of questioning like that. Because of their vijatiya mood, means outsider, not understanding the moods of love and affection of Mahaprabhu and Raya Ramananda's connection. Mahaprabhu immediately held back. Our Gurudev would explain that one should not open their hearts in front of everyone. He said our hearts are like camphor. Camphor, if you put it in the open air, will just evaporate into nothing. But if you keep it covered and inside a case and wrapped up, then it can stay for a very long time, and it just emanates very gentle fragrance. And when you want to smell that fragrance, then you open it up in a private place and quickly cover it. In the same way, Mahāprabhu understood that these persons are vijatiya. Their mood is critical, so he would not, critical meaning they are criticizing. And so he did not want to open his heart any further. But there was so much excitement between these two personalities. So just at that time, one Brahmin, who was actually a Vaishnava, he came and invited Mahāprabhu for lunch. But Mahāprabhu and Raya Ramananda, their mood was so excited. Raya Ramananda begged him, please, stay here for some time, don't leave quickly. Because naturally a sannyasi would move from place to place very quickly, staying no more than a couple of days, or even no longer than it takes to milk a cow. That was the curse that Daksha gave to Nard Muni. You cannot stay any place longer than it takes to milk a cow. So Raya Ramananda requested him to stay, and they wanted to meet again. So they made a plan that they would meet again. So one very important lesson. How did Raya Ramananda come? He was dressed in very luxurious clothing. He was being adored and worshipped and fanned and musicians and everything. But Mahāprabhu saw the Vaishnava. He's not looking in terms of, oh, you're in this kingly position or you're in this other position. He saw this Vaishnavata, the devotee, that devoted nature within him. And so Mahāprabhu responded accordingly to that. And that actually goes very well in line with what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur spoke today, or what I posted today from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that you cannot find a sadhu by his external dress. So many thousands, millions will dress in sadhu vesh, but they might be the furthest thing away from a sadhu. And he said, if you search far and wide and deep and for a very long time, you actually will hardly be able to find even one real sadhu. And it might be that they're not wearing those clothing, as Raya Ramananda showed, or as we've seen with Pundarik Vidyanidhi. When Gadadhar Pandit saw him, he was a little surprised, taken aback. Wait a second. He doesn't seem to be like the Vaishnava that I understand a Vaishnava should be like with my eyes. And by the mercy of Mukunda, he was able to witness the depth of Pundarik Vidyanidhi's devotion. And then he ended up taking shelter of him. So Mahāprabhu, seeing Raya Ramananda, he saw his nature of devotion. And there's another lesson here. Why did Mahāprabhu go to that place? He was pointed to that place by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So it's not always easy to recognize a Vaishnava, but another Vaishnava, they may recognize a Vaishnava, and they will point us in that direction. In fact, that is the duty of the Madhyam Adhikari Guru, is to point us in the direction of the association of any Uttama Vaishnava. Not only will they point you, but they will come along with you and receive that association in the form of Harikatha or just their presence. We will discuss that another time, Krishna Parimavati. Technically, a sannyasi is not supposed to meet with a king. Raya Ramananda was a governor, and technically also one should not maintain this kind of close association. But because it was more of a private scenario, when there's a king, it's very ostentatious. But in this case, they had met at the river. It was a different scenario. So time, place, and circumstance can be one answer, but I will do more research on that. So they made an arrangement to meet again. They were very excited to be in each other's company. And so, after Mahāprabhu, he went to the Brahman's house and received alms, means he took prasad, which was offered by that Brahman. And Raya Ramananda, in the evening, he came back. But how did he come back? He removed all of that fancy clothing. He didn't come in any mood of pomp and splendor. He wore very simple clothes. And he only came with one associate, one servant. And he came to that place. And there, again, Mahāprabhu and Raya Ramananda had such a beautiful meeting, reunion. And then they wanted to discuss, of course, this is what Vaishnavas do. They come together for Ishta Goshti, to discuss topics of their Ishtadev, to discuss topics of Krishna and Bhakti and Ras. So, Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Raya Ramananda, they began to discuss. What did Mahaprabhu tell Raya Ramananda? He said, I want to know from you about what is the goal. But whatever answer you give to me, I won't accept it unless it has Shastric backing. This is another very important instruction. If it does not have backing from the scripture, then it can be anyone's opinion from anywhere. And everyone has opinions. They're like noses. Everyone has them. But it doesn't mean that they're right. Where are those opinions coming from? What is their foundation? What is its truth? It's not the truth of bhakti necessarily. It can just be some concoction of the mind. And if yours is a concoction and someone else is a concoction, they are definitely going to conflict. So all of those who are followers of Vedic Dharma and Bhagavad Dharma, they understand that our foundation is Shastra. And how do we understand Shastra? Through Guru and Sadhu. And they are all complementing one another. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So that is our foundation. Our Srila Prabhupada, he said that a Vaishnava never says, I think, I believe, in my opinion, maybe this, if that. No, he said if any question comes to a Vaishnava, immediately he quotes from Shastra. Vaishnavas are Shastra Chakshushaha. There's no room for speculation. Vaishnavas quote Shastra. That's why I told you that with Raya Ramananda, with the Pratap Rudra, why Mahaprabhu's not, why he's embracing Raya Ramananda but not giving direct darshan to Pratap Rudra immediately. I will have to do some research on that to get some evidence, praman. I thought you would catch that, Katie. So, Raya Ramananda and Mahaprabhu were sitting there. Very beautiful, peaceful, serene environment. And Mahaprabhu started asking questions. Now Mahaprabhu, who is he? He's the source of everything. Raya Ramananda could already see that. So Raya Ramananda is already expressing that I don't know anything. You are the source of everything. And if I speak anything, it will be coming from you and going back to you. So the glorification given there by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami and Sri Caitanya Charitamrita is that Mahaprabhu is like the ocean and Raya Ramananda is like the rain-laden cloud which is come from the ocean. Means all of that bhakti rasa. This is Mahaprabhu, Krishna, Akila Rasamritamurti, the form of the ocean of ras and nectar bliss. So Raya Ramananda is like this cloud. And he's drawing the water from the ocean and then doing what? Pouring that water back on the ocean. But there's a speciality. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj, he mentions there, yes, there's a speciality. What is the speciality? One, the water which comes from the cloud is salt-free. It is distilled. It has been, only the pure water has been extracted and then that is going back on. And what is the speciality of that water? When that water touches the salt water, especially at the constellation of Swati Nakshatra, oh, so many wonderful things are made. So many wonderful things are produced. Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari ki jai. Raya Ramananda ki jai. Like what? Pearls in oysters. It is said that they come from the rain at the constellation of Swati Nakshatra. When that rain touches the ocean and goes to those oysters, then the pearls are manifest. Also so many shells and jewels and everything else manifest. So by this process, what Raya Ramananda is doing is basically distilling the essence of the nectar of Caitanya Mahaprabhu and then showering so many beautiful jewel-producing nectar showers back onto the ocean. And by this, we have received all of the beautiful teachings and instructions that Caitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us to receive through the medium of Raya Ramananda. So Mahaprabhu is asking him, what is the goal? And this is also important. What is the goal? We must establish the goal first. If we don't establish the goal first, then we're in essence just milling about. We have no purpose. We have no greed. We have no inspiration for forward movement. What is your goal? What is your aspiration? As I've told you before, I went to university for 4 years. Yes, I did. But guess what? I never selected a major. So I took lots of courses and lots of different subjects. And I thought I was going to be a doctor. And so did Sudevi. She thought I was going to be a doctor. But no, I wasn't. I didn't become one. So after 4 years, I never graduated with anything. No credentials or anything because I had no goal. I just became a jack of all trades, but a master of nothing. Unfortunately, that is my current condition. So please bear with me. Please bless me that maybe one day I might become a servant of my spiritual master, a proper servant. Hare Krishna. So, what is the goal? So, Caitanya Mahāprabhu is asking this to Raya Ramananda. And Raya Ramananda, he starts with Varnashram. Varnashram is the goal, he says. Sarva Sadhya Sar. What is Varnashram? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. And if one is following this process and worshipping Vishnu, then this is the goal of everything. Mahaprabhu's instantaneous response was, this is only external. Go further. It's only external. Wait a second. Varnashram is only external? All of our Guru Varga have explained that it is necessary for the time being, like a scaffolding is necessary to make a building. But the scaffolding is not the purpose of the building. It is there to help the building take shape and form, but after some time, it must be taken off. What is that? Varna and ashram. It is all to do with this body, the material body. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. In one birth, you are one thing. In one birth, you're another. In another birth, you're another. Sometimes Brahman, sometimes demigod, sometimes Lord Brahma, sometimes a germ, sometimes a snake or a bird or a tree or an aquatic, sometimes a human or an animal. So many different species and forms we go through and different levels of consciousness. Sometimes a Brahmin and sometimes a prostitute. And then this Brahmin is criticizing her and she's glorifying him, and then she goes to Vaikuntha and he goes to hell. So different things can happen like that. So this is external. It's to do with the body. It's not to do with the Atma. It's a bodily designation according to one's birth or even their qualities and activities to do with the body. And also ashram, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, that changes as well. But that is not to do with the soul. It's not to do with the soul. What do we hear? Mahāprabhu has said, Naham vipro na chanarapati na api vaishyo na shudro, Naham varni na chagrihapati no vanashtho yatirba, Kintu prodhyan nikila paramananda purnamritabdher gopi bhartu padakamayor das adas anudasaha. I am not any of those things, those temporary designations to do with the body. My identity is that I am an eternal servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the beloved of the gopis, especially one particular gopi. You can guess who that is. So then, Mahāprabhu tells him, go further. Raya Ramananda's okay. Because Mahāprabhu just said it's external. So then, Raya Ramananda tells him, this karmarpan bhakti. What is that? What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yat karoshi yarashnashi yaj juhoshi dadasiyat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer and give away in charity, do it as an offering unto me. Mahāprabhu says, that's external. Go further. Well, how is that external? Because in that verse, Krishna is referring to a particular kind of person with a particular kind of mindset. They're doing things in this world thinking, I am the doer. and they're expecting material results. So they're doing things with the expectation of material results. This is not pure bhakti, this is karma. They're following the karma kanda aspect of the scriptures. But Krishna is saying, do it as an offering unto me. So now I have made a farm. I have planted so many vegetables. I have purchased this farm. I have grown these vegetables. I have made so many beautiful things. Now I will offer some of it to Krishna. And then I want something in response. You can call it karma mishra bhakti or karmarpan bhakti. But because of this impurity, it's still thinking I am the doer, and also hoping for some reciprocation, like karmic reciprocation. I'm going to serve you and you give me also, but I'm thinking I'm the doer, so there's some kind of ahankar present. You know ahankar? Ahankar means false ego, but if you break it down to its Sanskrit separate forms, you have aham and kara. Aham means I am, and kara means the doer. So thinking that I am the doer, in other words, I am the controller, I have done, I like this is still coming from the false ego platform. Mahāprabhu says, go further. So Raya Ramananda is going from one point to the next to the next. And then he says, okay, sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja ahang tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma shuchaha. This is the goal. Sarva sadhya sar. The end goal of everything. Mahāprabhu said, nope. He said, this is also external, go further. What? This is external? This is talking about surrendering to Krishna. Sarva dharmam, give up all varieties of worldly dharma and surrender exclusively unto me. What's wrong with that? Well, Krishna follows it with something. If you do that, then I will reciprocate by removing all of your sins. Ahang tvang sarva papebhyo moksha. I will free you from that. You got my word. So then this becomes also some kind of karmic mixed with fruitive result. Oh, if I give this up, then I might suffer some karmic result. But now that you've given me assurance, then okay, then I can enter on this path of surrender. So it's not pure bhakti. The pure bhakta does not have any consideration for these things. Why? He already understands. Even based on the symptoms of sharanagati, anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyatiti vishvasho goptritve varanam tata. Krishna is my protector. Krishna is my maintainer. Why do I need him to then make an assurance afterward? I already have that concept. That is the basic foundation of Shraddha, of Paramarthik Shraddha, transcendental faith. Atmanikshepa karpanye. Atmanikshepa means complete surrender. This is already part of that. So Krishna he's telling, surrender to me and I will free you from the sins of everything else. Mahāprabhu says, this is external. Go further. What a shock. We spoke about this the other day. It's like, wait a second, I thought that was the be-all, end-all. No, that's even not the pure Sharanagati. It's not pure Sharanagati because Sharanagati, pure Sharanagati, which is considered the doorway to bhakti, already has as its foundation Shraddha, which means already understanding that Krishna is my protector and maintainer. So then nothing to do, nothing to worry about. I don't need Krishna to then subsequently give me the assurance that I will remove the sins. No, in another verse, Krishna is saying, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nitya viyuktaram yoga kshemam vahamyaham. For one who surrenders to me with love, one-pointed, Ananyas chintayanto mam, who is always meditating and thinking of me. Ananya, one-pointed, exclusive. Then, I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. In other words, they don't need to think about it or worry about it. It's already done. So Mahāprabhu says, go further. Then Raya Ramananda starts telling, well, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. This is the essence, the goal of everything. Means bhakti mixed with jnana. But what is the jnana that is referred to here? There is different kinds of knowledge. Jnana means knowledge, but there are different kinds of knowledge. There's knowledge which is aimed at impersonal liberation. And one can also do the activities of bhakti for that goal. There's also bhakti jnana. But generally, when we refer to jnana, there's also jnana, which is knowledge of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. So jnana, which leads one toward Vaikuntha, or jnana, which leads one toward impersonal liberation, and the activities of bhakti that are present within it. Even that, Mahāprabhu said, it is external. You should go further. Then, Raya Ramananda says, okay, the essence is jnana, the essence of everything, of all goals, is jnana shunya bhakti. Mahāprabhu says, that's good. First time he says that's good. Right? When he says jnana shunya, without being covered by jnana. What is the definition of pure bhakti? Rupa Goswami tells in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1:111, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanabratam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. The topmost pure bhakti is completely devoid of jnana, knowledge aimed at impersonal liberation, and karma, reward-seeking activity, etc. It's not taking shelter of any other process. It is only exclusively for Krishna's happiness, his pleasure, and his benefit. That is pure bhakti. All of those endeavors. And it must be under guidance and constant, steady, flowing like honey from a jar, without any cessation. So, this is the definition of pure bhakti. So when he says jnana shunya bhakti, Raya Ramananda says to Mahāprabhu, Mahāprabhu's like, that's good, but can you take it deeper? Then he says, Raya Ramananda starts getting a little bit more excited. He's like getting a little concerned. No, most don't ask this far. You're taking it further and further. Very interesting. Okay, and then he says, prema bhakti. But first, in terms of what kind of prema bhakti? Shantaras. And Mahāprabhu is like, good, I like it. Shantaras means the neutrality relationship. Like Prahlad for Narasimhadev Bhagavan. His relationship is Shantaras. But he does not see that the Lord needs anything from him. He understands that the Lord is Atmaram, self-satisfied, and Aptakam, is fully, doesn't need anything outside of himself. There's no desire that is not fulfilled instantaneously. So there's nothing that I need to do for him. They only have the mood of awe and reverence. But that's all. So there's Shanta. Then Mahāprabhu says, good, but further. He goes to dasyaras, servitude. Mahāprabhu is also happy with that, because now you have prem manifesting. Some love and affection. But still, it's in the mood of, I am the servant. So Mahāprabhu says, that's also good. But go further. I'm not going into so much detail. Then Raya Ramananda goes to sakyaras. So there's a progression from all of the different levels going into Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Ras. That is friendship mood. Mahāprabhu says, this is the topmost. For the first time, he didn't just say this is good, he said this is uttam, this is great. Why? Did I say Sakyaras? Because in Sakyaras, one forgets that the Lord is their master. And they have a mood of mamata, which allows them to be like equals. So the friends of Krishna, they're not seeing him as Bhagavan, they're seeing him as my friend. And they wrestle with him, they share food with their left hands and right hands, and play and leapfrog and swim together, and get up to whatever young boys get up to. Very sweet, loving relationships. Mahāprabhu was very pleased. He said yes. And this is the first time he said uttam, but he wanted more. Go further. This is great. This is the best, but go further. And then Raya Ramananda is mentioning what? Vatsalya prem, parental prem. This is more than sakya, and it contains friendship mood within it. Why? Because it has all of the same ingredients, but then it has a massive amount of mamata on top of it. What is the mamata? A protective mood. Krishna is mine, and he's also my responsibility. So there's a mood of love and affection that is thousands of times greater because of that possessive mood, always concerned, always worried, always making sure that he's okay, and trying to make everything better and better for him. So that mood of possessiveness comes much stronger. And Mahāprabhu replied to that, this is also uttam, this is also wonderful, this is also great, the topmost, but go further. Raya Ramananda was like, what? Then Raya Ramananda mentioned Kanta Prem. Kanta Prem means the prem of Krishna's beloveds. That this is the highest. And this is referring to the moods of the gopis. Why is this the highest? Mahāprabhu was so happy to hear this. He's like, yes, yes, this is the highest, uttam. But Mahāprabhu still wanted to hear more. Why is this considered the highest? Because they have all of the ingredients within them that Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Rasas have, but they have the extra added complete surrender, mind, body, words, everything in the service of Krishna, without reservation. They have given everything, even at the expense of everything else. They have given everything to Krishna. And in this discussion between Mahāprabhu and Raya Ramananda, there it is said that, all of the tattva, all of the verses that our Gurudev would quote regarding all of these rasas, they're all there in their condensed form. It's beautiful. So there it is said that for everyone, Krishna says what? As you approach me, I reciprocate accordingly. Yeyata mam prapadyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. Only for the gopis, because of their complete, exclusive, cent% dedication, to the maximum extreme does Krishna feel himself indebted. He says, even in the lifetime of all of the gods, I cannot repay you. Your love is the greatest thing, and let that be satisfied with that you have this kind of love and affection. I can never repay you for this. In other words, I am eternally indebted to you for your dedication and your love and affection. Only for them, Krishna says this. For everyone else, he says, as you approach, I reciprocate accordingly. So Raya Ramananda is telling this, and Mahāprabhu is like, yes, 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 go further, go further, go further. I want to hear more. And Raya Ramananda is getting very amazed. Mahāprabhu wants to hear more. He wants to hear more. He said, I've never spoken like anything more than that. I don't know anything more. And Mahāprabhu said that, of course you know more. Continue telling more. And he said, if anything more comes, it is only by your mercy that anything more is coming. I don't know anything. So he continued telling. Of all of the gopis, I'm really cutting it short because it's very, very in-depth and very detailed. But among all of the gopis, there is one supreme gopi, and that is Srimati Radhika. Vrishabhanunandani Srimati Radhika, Radharani. Caitanya Mahāprabhu was so happy to hear this, and he agreed with everything, but he wanted to go further. And what was the proof? He needed proof from Raya Ramananda. So Raya Ramananda is giving proof from Srimad Bhagavatam. How millions of gopis were present. And then Srimati Radhika, seeing that Krishna was giving equal preference to everyone, not giving her the same, she exhibited man and left that place And Krishna then left all of them and just went searching for her. But then again he disappeared. And all of the gopis came and they saw 2 sets of footprints. And the gopis, they were saying, whoever this one is here, Anayaradito nunam bhagavan hari ishvara yanno vihaya govinda pritoyam anayadraha. Whoever this one here is certainly the most fortunate of all of us. Because Krishna has come for her and gone to a secluded place with her alone, in the midst of millions of us. But our acharyas have mentioned, and Mahāprabhu also was not fully satisfied with that. He wanted more because Krishna disappeared so he wouldn't upset the other gopis, which means he was concerned for what they would think. So Mahāprabhu wanted more. So there's one Rasalila which takes place here at Vangshivat. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction. It feels like it's that way. Where Krishna is playing his flute on a full moon night, Sharad Purnima, seeing that reddish moon, and he's desiring to engage in a Rasalila. Anurag is manifesting in his heart. So he's calling the gopis with his flute, Esho, Esho, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Without you I cannot maintain my life. And all of the millions of gopis all heard their own names because they're manifestations of her, and came running by the millions from all directions to that point where Krishna was playing his flute. And this Rasalila started to take place, but then it temporarily stopped. This is one Rasalila. There's another one, the Basanti Rasalila, which happens in the springtime. That is taking place in Govardhan. Not with all of the gopis, but so many. And Srimati Radhika is there with Krishna. So this Rasalila is going on. Srimati Radhika leaves. Krishna leaves, searching for her, almost shamelessly. And he's not hiding. We've heard about this pastime in Paitagaon, near Chandra Sarovar. Chandra Sarovar, they were doing this Rasalila for the entire night of Brahma. And the moon, witnessing, stayed full the entire time in complete awestruckness, and then melted in prem and became the Moondrop Lake, Chandra Sarovar. So Srimati Radhika was there, Krishna was there, and then Krishna decided to manifest that 4-armed form of Narayan. And so many gopis were searching for Krishna. So many were searching for Krishna. And they came upon this form of Krishna standing with his 4 arms. He looked like Narayan. They offered pranam to him. Oh Narayan, have you seen Krishna? Where is Krishna? Like Rudra Prabhu always says, Kotai Kanai. Where is Krishna? This was their question. And then they continued on their way searching for Krishna. But from the distance, Srimati Radhika was coming with her Sakhis and her maidservants. And a breeze, a very gentle breeze, just blew past her form and her cloth and carried the fragrance of her divine transcendental form to the nose of Krishna. In that moment, when he smelled that fragrance, he completely forgot everything. He forgot himself. He forgot what he was doing. He forgot the trick he was playing with the 4 arms. 2 arms went back inside. Paitagaon. That's why it's called Paitagaon. Went back into his pate or his stomach. And he was immediately standing there in his most beautiful 3-fold bending form of Shyam Sundar. In his most charming, beautiful form. And there, standing in that beautiful form, because of Srimati Radhika's love, he cannot hold any other form. She came and stood before him. Srila Bhakti Vigyam Bharati Maharaj was saying, it was the most beautiful sight. These two, seeing each other's beauty. Krishna is Madan Mohan. Millions of cupids, they faint just upon seeing his beauty. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. But she is Madan Mohan Mohini. She is the person who bewilders, attracts, confuses, and controls the mind of even Madan Mohan himself. So as she's standing before him, and he's standing before her, such a beautiful interaction was taking place. Srila Bhakti Vigyam Bharati Maharaj said, like a transcendental beauty competition. As she would see his beauty, her beauty would try to match it. And then his beauty would try to match hers. And they were becoming more and more and more beautiful. He said those who went ahead, they were cheated of this darshan. But those who were in her anugatya, who were following behind her, this is her own sakhis and manjaris, They were not only able to see this amazing, beautiful form of Krishna and this amazing, beautiful form of Srimati Radhika, but they were able to witness the love between Shri Radha Madhav. So this Mahāprabhu accepted as the final and topmost. Yes, this is the proof that the love of Srimati Radhika is the topmost, and therefore she is Sarvakanta Shiromani. She is the crest jewel of all beloveds. Even the evidences were given by Śrī Rāmānanda Rāya in that section, where even Lakshmi Devi herself cannot receive what the gopis of Braj are receiving. This embrace by Krishna like that. Lakshmi Devi herself. What to speak of all of these gopis? How great is the love of Srimati Radhika that it fully controls Krishna. Everything. He is completely controlled by her love and affection. So at this, Caitanya Mahāprabhu was satisfied, but they wanted to hear more and more. So daily, day after day, they would come together and discuss beautiful Harikatha, glorifying the sweet pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And Mahāprabhu and Raya Ramananda both were experiencing so much nectar. In the beginning, Raya Ramananda was answering, and you could feel some hesitation. He was a little concerned. But it was like Mahāprabhu just opened the floodgates at a certain point, and Raya Ramananda just couldn't stop. It was a barrage of sweet Harikatha, glorifying the charm and superiority of this Kanta Prem, especially this Srimati Radhika's Prem for Krishna in so much variegated detail. Yes, Sarvakanta Shiromani. So, this Raya Ramananda, Mahāprabhu was so pleased. And then Raya Ramananda is starting to see something. What am I seeing here? I see you as a sannyasi, but now I'm seeing you as like a Shyam complexion, Shyama Gopa. Like Krishna, oh, and I see a golden doll. Like Krishna and Srimati Radhika, what am I seeing? And Mahāprabhu instantly retorted, oh, a Mahabhagavat, a great personality, doesn't exactly see what's going on in this world. Rather, they see the presence of their Ishtadev everywhere. And Raya Ramananda was like, no. No, I see it in you. I see something. Tell me what's really going on. What is really going on? And then Mahāprabhu revealed to him, for the first time, not to anyone else, but to Raya Ramananda, who he really, truly is. Who is he? Rasaraj Mahabhav. Prem Ras Niryash Korite Ashvadan Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. He is that same Rasik Shekhar Krishna Paramakarun, I think. Yes, Rasik Shekhar Krishna Paramakarun. Edu Hetu Hoite Ichara Udgam. Maybe it's not the right verse. I was just thinking of Rasaraj and Mahabhav. So these two personalities, Krishna, Rasaraj, and Mahabhav, Srimati Radhika, together, he's seeing this in Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. And Mahāprabhu finally admits it, that I'm revealing this to you. Actually, I am Shyam, he said. I am Krishna. But I have taken the bhavs, the moods, the sentiments of Vrishabhanu Nandini, Srimati Radharani. Radhaya pranaya mahima kidrishavaneva ashvadyo yena adbhutam adhunima kidrishavamadiya sokyam chasya mad anubhavata kidrisham veti lobhat tad bhavadyam samajani shachigarbha sindo harindu. Desiring to understand, to taste, to experience what Srimati Radhika is experiencing upon loving Krishna. Krishna himself taking shelter of her and her moods. Taking shelter of her, not stealing. Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj made it very clear he's taking shelter of those moods. Manifested from the womb of Mother Shachi. Like the moon is rising from the ocean. Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Although he is Krishna himself, he has manifested with the bhav, completely covered in this bhav of Srimati Radhika. And that bhav has its own complexion. It is Gaurangi. So taking shelter of Gaurangi, then Krishna has manifested as Gauranga. So Raya Ramananda saw this, and then he confirmed it with Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. One important thing I missed. In this conversation, Raya Ramananda is telling what is the real qualification for attaining this Krishna Bhakti Rasa. What is the qualification? And he says, this intense, greedy desire to attain it. This is the only or root qualification for the attainment of Krishna Bhakti Rasa. So up until now we were speaking about what is the goal, what is the highest thing. But how to attain that? Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatam Yadikatopi Labhyate Tatra Lolyam Apimulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Shukritayana Labhyate. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purports that he actually named the Krishna consciousness part of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. His Krishna consciousness movement after this part, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. So, what?
Do you want to continue tomorrow before we go on to this next subject?
No.
Okay.
Just about finished. Sorry, I'm taking too long. So the root qualification for Krishna Bhakti, Ras, which is the nectar of loving and serving Krishna, is the intense, greedy desire to have it. And wherever it can be had, one must purchase it without delay. Where can it be had? In the association of Krishna's pure devotees. So Raya Ramananda, he is no ordinary personality. He's a very great personality. He is an eternal associate of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu and Vishaka Sakhi in Radha Krishna Lila. So an eternal associate of Radha and Krishna. One devotee came to Mahāprabhu, his name was Pradyumna Mishra, and he wanted to hear the nectar of Raskatha. Mahāprabhu said, I know no one more qualified than Raya Ramananda. So Pradyumna Mishra went to see Raya Ramananda. Raya Ramananda, his function, this is after he had, Mahāprabhu actually requested him to come to Puri with him. And on the request of Mahāprabhu, he said, you should stay with me for my whole life and we should always discuss the glories of Krishna. So Raya Ramananda told that to Maharaj, to the king, or was it Maharaj Prataprudra at the time. And he agreed, yes, you should do it. So he gave up all of his everything and he went to live in Puri with Mahāprabhu. So what was Raya Ramananda doing? What did Pradyumna Mishra see? Oh, he was teaching the Devi Dasis or the Devadasis how to dance. So he was showing them the proper emotions. He was a teacher, dance teacher. He was showing them the proper emotions, the proper movements, how to show without having to say anything, but express through dance. And because they were practicing for so many hours every day, these young ladies, he was massaging their legs and taking care of them, nurturing them in every way that was necessary from the dance teacher perspective. Pradyumna Mishra seeing this became very doubtful. What? I can't understand. And Mahāprabhu said, Raya Ramananda is beyond any material consideration. He is already completely spiritual and transcendental. There is nothing that can touch him. Only Raya Ramananda. Like this. And so this is also showing that we cannot judge a pure devotee from the external. One might look and see, oh, this activity, mind you, they're not base activities. He's assisting them in their service to Jagannath. So in that case, he's massaging them. He might be helping them, adjusting their positions so they do the right dance positions. But he is not touched by anything of this world. So Mahāprabhu very, very strongly told Pradyumna Mishra, there is no fault or flaw in Raya Ramananda. Only he can do this thing. He is already completely transcendental, completely liberated. There is no chance for any mundanity within him. So also we need to see the Vaishnavas according to the vision of the pure Vaishnavas. And this is another topic for another day. But especially Mahāprabhu, he is the Supreme Lord himself. In the mood of Srimati Radhika, he is glorifying Raya Ramananda in such a way. So Raya Ramananda has brought about from the heart of Mahāprabhu and showered back on Mahāprabhu and the whole world all of these essential, transcendental nectar points that our entire Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage coming through Sri Rupa Goswami is dependent upon. That is our You can say our mother's milk. All of the proofs for what is pure bhakti, what is the highest love and affection, what is the goal of everything, how to attain that. All of that is contained within Raya Ramananda Samvada, within that section of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. And from that, everything else can be understood in context. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the rest of Caitanya Charitamrita. Without that, everything would be very confusing. So, Śrī Raya Ramananda ki jai. Tadiya Tirubhav Maha Mahotsava ki jai. I know there's so much I missed, but please forgive me. I did go a little bit over time. Our Srila Gurudev has one book. It's Śrī Raya Ramananda Samvada, and he has gone through very meticulously through each verse, presenting the commentaries of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the commentaries of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and qualifying everything and giving so many proofs from Shastra. So it's extremely authoritative, very powerful, very beautiful, and really brings about the essence of everything that we are seeking. Believe it or not, also in that section is where Raya Ramananda is explaining that there are certain persons among the gopis who have no desire to meet with Krishna personally. Rather, they are only everything is to see Radha and Krishna happily meeting together forever. Yes, so Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugala Milan. This is their only happiness, to see Radha and Krishna happily meeting together. And our Srila Prabhupada, he writes in his purports in Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, who pleases Krishna more than anyone? Only Srimati Radharani. What makes him the most happy? Only Srimati Radharani. So our function, our mood is how to push Radharani to Krishna. So if you also read in teachings of Lord Chaitanya and also Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, but in a condensed form in teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada, our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is giving a synopsis on this katha. Also there is a book which they found at Radha Damodar in his old trunks. And that was, ascertaining the goal of the human, or the goal of life. No, Prabhupada actually did a version of Raya Ramananda Samvada, and that was published. Now, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya was a series of lectures he gave. But this one, he actually did it as a book.
Oh, I was talking about that one, but yeah.
So, there's so much transcendental nectar present within this conversation. It is mentioned that one should not dive too deeply, if they are unqualified, into the higher, more esoteric aspects. So it's appropriate that we're just touching on these points without going so deeply, because I'm definitely not qualified. I cannot say for you. But it is important to understand it so that we can approach in context and understand what our goal is very, very clearly. What is our goal? Our goal is not Krishna. Our goal is Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem has a form. Krishna Prema Mai Radha. Our goal is to serve Krishna through the medium of Śrī Radha. So, Shyama Sundar Shikanda Shekara Smeraha Samurli Manohara Radhika Rasikamang Kripanidhe Swapriya Charana Kinkaring Kuru. O Shyama Sundar, O Krishna, O you who has a gentle smile and who has a peacock feather in his hair, who holds a flute. If you can give me anything, I pray that you make me a kinkari, swapriya charana kinkaring, at the feet of your dear most beloved, Radhika Rasikamang Kripanidhe. You please give me this mercy of making me a kinkari, a maidservant, at the feet of your dear most beloved, Srimati Radhika. That is our goal, our aspiration, our everything. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Raya Ramananda ki jai, Tadiya Tirabha Maha Mahotsava ki jai, Shri Shachinandana Gaurahari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada.
Hari Hari Bol.
Shri Gurudeva ki
Jai.
Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gurupada Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Pati Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaurahari ki
Jai.
Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Śrī Rāya Ramananda ki jai, Maha Mahotsava ki jai, Śrī Rāya Ramananda Samvada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande,
Hari Hari Bol.
Govinda Damo
Madhavedi,
Govinda Damo
Madhavedi,
Govinda Damo
Madhavedi,
Govinda Damo For being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, and especially the beautiful conversation and teachings that Mahāprabhu extracted through Śrī Rāmānanda through himself. So thank you for being with us and encouraging us to remember these beautiful teachings. Also, we would like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to do our Guru Seva, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe. Radha Vinu Bihari Ju Shashinandana
Godāvarī ki jai. Śrī Rāmānanda. No?
Was it right? Was that right?
What did I do? What did I do?
I don't remember.
You're wrong. Look, he's wrong.
Okay.
Śrī Rāmānanda. Hasta mañana. Kal milenge. Tot morgen. Bis morgen. Nitai haula. Nitai meli. Sham. Radhe Radhe, dear Vaishnavas.
Radhe Radhe.
See you tomorrow.
Kal milenge.
Radhe Radhe.